Hey everyone, welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. All the details are in today's video, and there's a lot to unpack. Before we begin, make sure you're subscribed to Turkish Spotlight Secrets and share this video so you don't miss any of the twists and turns. Thank you for being here. The rumor mill has zeroed in on Barış's Arduç name again, and this time it isn't about a new role, a surprise cameo, or a set leak. The buzz is intensely personal, deeply charged, and pointed straight at the heart of his home life, an alleged comment by Barış's father about Elçin Sangu, and the fiery response that followed. What was supposed to be a private family conversation, a simple gathering at home, reportedly spiraled the moment a remark was made that crossed a line for Barış. It said that when he heard what was said about his wife, the actor's calm exterior shattered, and what came next was unmistakably protective. Sources close to the family claimed the room went cold, and a silence fell before Barış's voice cut through with a firm warning. As the account spread, the words attributed to him sounded like a line drawn with finality, a demand for respect, not up for debate. Those present, according to whispers, felt the tension snap as he made it clear where his boundaries begin and end. Though he's famously private, anyone who has followed Barış knows that when it comes to Elçin, he is all in. He has often sidestepped the spotlight when it gets too personal, and yet when her name is involved, his posture changes, he becomes unshakable. Friends from their circle say he has long made his stance crystal clear within the family. Any shade thrown in her direction is off limits. One source insists he spelled it out in unmistakable terms: Elçin is my wife, my partner for life, and the line you don't cross. It wasn't just a declaration, it was a shield he lifted right in front of her, in front of everyone. The reaction reverberated beyond the living room walls and into the corners of the gossip world, igniting a debate about boundaries, loyalty, and the way a public figure protects the person he loves. And what about Elçin? True to form, she stayed silent. She didn't post a carefully worded caption. She didn't like or unlike anything. She didn't drop a cryptic story. She simply stepped back, allowing the noise to echo without her voice feeding it. To her fans, the choice looked deliberate, an elegant refusal to throw fuel on a situation already aflame. In comment sections and fan pages, the sentiment was nearly uniform: she's handling it with grace. Observers who've watched their relationship evolve from co-stars to a powerhouse couple saw this as yet another example of her poise under pressure, a talent she's refined in front of the cameras and away from them. No official statements have been released, no notes from management, no carefully curated quotes. Those in the know say the family is working behind closed doors to dial the temperature down, to move past a night that seems destined to follow them in headlines for days. Still, insiders warn that the aftershocks won't disappear in an instant. There's a public appetite for details that won't be satisfied easily. The story has already sprawled across social media, split into interpretations, blurred by speculation, amplified by the megaphone of curiosity that comes with fame. Here's what kept the conversation churning: the conviction in Barış's reaction. If the calm, reserved public image is one part of who he is, then this moment showed another. More private and more primal. His response, the insistence on respect for his wife, hit a nerve. Some viewers called it a masterclass in devotion, proof that he's not afraid to stand up to anyone, even a parent, when his marriage is involved. Others lamented that things went this far at all, wondering why family conflict must be whispered about in public. But most couldn't ignore the through line: Barış defended his wife without flinching. The chatter didn't just center on what he said. It focused on what it means. The picture painted by those close to him is of a man who sets firm borders around his relationship and expects them to be honored. This is a couple fans have watched with fascination since their early on-screen sparks, and this latest chapter has only underscored that the chemistry wasn't a performance, it was the foundation of a private bond. While cameras love them, their decisions seem aimed at protecting a life together that belongs only to them. Meanwhile, the silent half of the story, Elçin's restraint, spoke volumes. People saw wisdom in her calm. There was no need to clap back, no interest in making a scene. Those with access to the couple insist that her quiet should be read not as indifference, but as trust, trust in him to handle the hard moment, trust in their relationship to withstand the whispers, trust in the idea that not every storm needs thunder to pass. Still, the murmurs persisted. Did Barış confront his father afterward? Did they talk in private once the company had gone home and the night stretched long? According to one oft-repeated account, yes. After the dust settled, father and son reportedly had a sober conversation where Barış emphasized that any disparaging word about his wife won't be tolerated, not then, not ever. This was not said with shout or spectacle, insiders claim, but with a clarity that allowed no confusion. That conversation is rumored to have lowered the temperature, easing the immediate strain while leaving a sober awareness of what had been breached. The air, some say, is calmer now, but still careful. Tabloid writers leaped on the symbolism. One of the biggest stars of his generation, standing in his living room, defending the woman he loves, that image lit up timelines and headlines alike. It reminded everyone that behind the red carpets and glossy spreads are real households with real boundaries. Yes, it was dramatic. Yes, it stirred admiration. And yes, it raised questions about how the couple would move forward from an incident so personal, so public, and so raw. As the discourse widened, social media split along familiar lines. There were those who cheered, "This is what partnership looks like." There were those who sighed, pointing out that families say clumsy things and that healing, not headlines, is what's needed. And there were those who simply watched, fascinated by how a single tense moment could reveal the architecture of a marriage, how it shows where the load-bearing walls are, and who stands up when the pressure hits. In the center of the swirl, sources kept returning to the same theme, the couple's emphasis on mutual respect. Friends say that for all their success and the attention that follows, what anchors them is the quiet stuff, conversations off camera, the decisions they make for each other's well-being, the way they back each other up without asking for applause. So when someone threatened that equilibrium, even unintentionally, the response was swift and unmistakable. Did this shake them? It tested them, certainly. But those closest insist it hasn't cracked anything essential. In fact, whispers suggest they see this episode as a reset button, a line drawn that might protect them from future skirmishes. Challenges, when faced head-on, can become moments of clarity. And if you believe their camp, that's what this was, an uncomfortable night that clarified loyalties and taught everyone involved what must be safeguarded. Tabloid cameras tried to catch a reaction shot, maybe a glance, a gesture, something to read between the lines. But the couple gave nothing away. She stayed poised. He stuck to the work at hand. Their social feeds, when they did flicker to life, were about anything but the controversy. Projects, art, moments with friends, everything except the rumor that wouldn't die. The omission felt intentional, and the message was clear: the more the noise swells outside, the more they retreat to what's real inside. It's impossible to deny how much this has captivated the gossip world. Days later, the story hasn't lost steam, because it's easy to project onto it our expectations of romance, our fantasies of chivalry, our curiosity about what fame does to family ties. It's also a mirror for the couple's public image, one that blends passion with restraint, the public with the private, and turns a family dispute into a lesson about what matters most to them. What's next? Those close to the situation predict a quiet easing rather than a dramatic public resolution. No statement, no press conference, no tell-all. Just a gradual settling, a bit of space, a bit of perspective. Perhaps a dinner that ends with lighter conversation. Perhaps an apology offered without cameras and accepted without conditions. Perhaps a shared understanding that words, once said, can't be unsaid, but trust, once affirmed, can soften their edges. Even so, commentators insist the ripple effect will be analyzed for a long time. Not because of the scandal itself, but because of what it revealed, the depth of Barış's devotion, the power of his words when he chooses to use them, and the calm with which Elçin refuses to play into the spectacle. This was more than a headline, it was a glimpse of the rules they live by together. In the final count, here's what remains: a father said something that never should have been said, a son refused to let it stand, a wife chose composure over conflict. A couple moved as one, even in silence. And beyond the noise, somewhere quieter, two people reaffirmed the promise they'd been keeping since the camera stopped rolling and real life began. We'll keep watching, because that's what we do here at Turkish Spotlight Secrets: follow the story, sift the whispers, and bring you the heart of what matters. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets and share the video. Until next time, stay tuned for what unfolds, and remember, some boundaries exist for a reason, and some loves are loudest when they speak softly.